favorite graphing calculator now?
It's still the CE. I mean, that's what I did most of my programming on. I dabbled with Nspire. I actually was, this is the weirdest thing, I was commissioned by somebody to write a couple of programs for the TI Nspire, and I didn't have a physical one, so I wrote them all on an emulator, like clicking physically on the screen with the mouse to like type it in.
That sounds painful.
It was not the funnest, but it was still fun to work with some new hardware.
Some new hardware, completely emulated in software, but it's
yeah, but.
Welcome, Fedi Friends, to episode 32 of Fireside Fedi. I'm your host, Ozoned. Fireside Fedi is a show about folks within the Fediverse, although this is a bit of an exception. We'll get into that later. If you're seeing this, you are part of the Fediverse. Yes, even you folks now that are on YouTube, you are adopted Fedizens while you're watching this. Welcome. With me today is Benjamin Pryor. Benjamin is a full-stack software developer, musician, graphic designer, and is currently pursuing their bachelor's and/or master's in computer science. And masters, as always, and is always trying to grow and adapt their skills to help people in any way you can. Benjamin, first off, welcome to the show. Secondly, how would you like to be addressed?
You can just call me Ben.
Ben? Okay.
Usually go by he or they, so.
He or they. Okay. Easy enough, Ben. Secondly, and I want to just jump right into this because we were talking about this before the show about you're in the Fediverse, but you don't have an account on the Fediverse at the moment, right?
Yeah. I signed up for a KBin account. I used to be on Reddit a long time ago. There was the great migration when they shut down third-party apps. I was a big proponent of the open source side of Reddit. So then when that was kind of shut down, wanted to move towards something fully open source, signed up for KBin, and then it shut down. And I haven't gotten around to making a new Fediverse account yet.
Can I recommend there's mbin now, but PyFed Social. I've been loving PyFed Social. Or of course, you could always spin up your own go-to social instance if you're into the microblogging, which has done me a lot of good. There was another one I recently saw that was, I think, based on Fedia.io.
Okay, I've heard of Fedia.
Okay, yeah.
I do try to keep track of some of the big ones because of Fedi-Search, so that I can make sure they're included.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So normally this is the part of the show, and I'm guessing that it might be a bit quick, which is okay because you're a college student. But how did you get to where you're at today, outside of waking up and coming to your chair?
So like the whole journey, or like just recently?
It's up to you how far you want to go into it. If you want to talk about what got you into computers, or what you got interested in Fediverse, or just I was born and I went straight to college, that's okay too. Whatever you think, whatever is most comfortable for you.
So it's actually a really funny story. My family moved when I was 7. And one of the things that I found in one of the moving boxes was my mom's old TI-82 graphing calculator from college.
Okay, so first off, that hurts that you say her old graphing calculator, because I had one of those in high school. So
I mean, when I got it, it was like, I want to say almost 2 decades old.
Oh God, Ben. Anyway, go ahead, Ben. So I'm old and you're young, and
so I had zero internet access at the time, but I found the graphing calculator, and I also found the manual for the graphing calculator.
Yep.
And so I was a weird 7-year-old. I learned how to program that thing from the manual. Hey,
I'll have you know that I was like around 7 or 8 when I learned how to program my dad's Tandy Terrier S80. So I'm there with you. And actually, I said about having it in high school. My final in pre-calc, I completely programmed into that calculator. It was amazing. It was not a calculator. It was, I wouldn't even call it a graphing calculator. It was a computer. It was a microcomputer. Like, so you found...
I mean, it's got a Z80 processor in it. So, I mean, it's as powerful as some of the computers were in the 70s anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's valid. So you find this antique and then you just start hacking away on it.
Yeah. I wrote a shell for it. I remember I was big into like trying to kind of make. I made this thing called Menus OS. That's what I called it. And it was just this parody of Windows, I guess. But I would write a lot of programs for it, just math or games or whatever. Mm-hmm. Never really got outside of TI Basic on that because, as far as I'm aware, you can't program in assembly on a TI-82.
I don't know. I only ever programmed in TI Basic as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the TI-83, I want to say, is the first one that you could program assembly on. But I eventually got a TI-84 plus CE. And that I started going into more of like the color screen stuff, still wrote a lot of TI Basic. But I found this online calculator programming community called Chematech. Great place. Highly recommend it for anyone looking to learn programming. It's like all open source calculator applications. And that is what like is a pipeline from TI Basic to this intermediate called ICE that compiled into assembly to eventually learning to program in C and assembly directly. And so I most of my early programming was done entirely on a calculator.
But wow. So then, I mean, you went down the rabbit hole with that. And that's not easy stuff. Like even from, I mean, yes, TI Basic, super not complex, but typing on a graphing calculator keyboard is not exactly easy. How did you make the jump? And like, did your mind explode when you first got a computer or?
So it definitely was like, it was a combination of everything super easy and everything super complex just because it was different. I really liked the idea of programming for integrated systems because it was nice to have those constraints to try and work around. It was like a puzzle for me. Okay. So I was trying to do as much as I possibly could within like as little as I could possibly use in terms of RAM, in terms of storage space, that type of thing.
So you're a smart developer.
I mean,
you don't just assume we have all this RAM, we need to use it.
It was really hard catching on to object-oriented programming because of that, though.
Oh my god! Yeah, just
because I was so used to like C structs and all that, like mapping out the memory bit by bit. Like it was a transition.
So this kid learned real computers. Yeah, Z80, with BASIC on top of it, and learning how to manage memory and things. That's hardcore, dude. So you got onto computers and it was so, oh my gosh. So you went from this calculator to a computer and you're like, yeah, I could do this for a living. Let's go to college. Or
I mean, pretty much. I was, again, even before I started learning to program, when I was like learning to read, my parents got me this thing. I don't know if you've heard of snap circuits. It's
I have my kids snap circuits. Yeah, they're cool.
My dad got me like the full set of them. And like, I just started going through, part of the reason of the motivation for me learning to read was so I could read the snap circuits manuals so I could more effectively build the circuits.
That is awesome. I love that. Okay.
So I always thought as a kid, everyone thought I was weird for this, but as a kid, I wanted to be an electrical engineer.
So why didn't you? Why didn't you become an electrical engineer?
I fell in love with programming, and I'm like, well, I feel like computer science is like that perfect blend of of the logic and the more physical development side of things. And I really loved the logic, which you don't get to do a whole ton of in electrical engineering. So I figured it seemed more interesting to me to go into programming, a lot more to mess around with.
Okay. Even after finding object-oriented programming, you're like, I still want to go into this. Excuse me, cutie. My cat wanted to come say hello.
What's his name?
Her name is Godiva.
That's adorable.
We're busy. Go over here. There you go. I mean, yeah, so snap circuits is more physical. Have you gotten into hardware hacking and things like that, or no?
A little bit. I mean, I was trying to overclock. This is, again, nerdy as heck, but I was trying to overclock my graphing calculator at one point.
So you have a fixation with graphing calculators, I see.
It was how I learned to program. It was the community that helped me learn, so I did a lot with them. I still do from time to time. I'm currently... I'll get into that later. But I was trying to overclock my graphing calculator.
Which one?
And it was the TI-84 plus CE.
Okay.
And they locked down the speed of the core processor to make it interface with the RAM, because the RAM was really slow, processor was really fast. Weirdest processor I've ever worked with, because it's an 8-bit processor, but it has 24-bit registers.
But hang on, because I love this statement. The weirdest processor I ever worked with. And a graphic calculator, of all of the CPUs I've worked with and all of the graphic calculators in the world, this one was the oddest. Okay. That is...
Well, I mean, Texas Instruments always has a eclectic mix of hardware they use in their calculators. Like Casio calculators run on ARM a lot of the time, or like integrated circuit chips. Even TI, like the Nspire series, also runs on ARM. But the like 80 series calculators all run on Z80 or EZ80 series chips, and those are some of the weirdest processors, I'll tell you.
Can I just say, this right here is the perfect example of why I love talking to so many people. You are... do you mind if I say your age?
Yeah, go for it.
You're 20 years old, and you know so much more about calculators than I have ever known anybody to know. This is great. I love this. So, okay, so you're trying to overclock your TI-84C
plus C. Yeah.
Plus, I apologize. Let's get the name right. Yeah. Yeah. We don't want Texas Instruments to come banging on our door. So you're trying to overclock the TI-84 plus C, and
so they lock down the processor to a slower speed. I think it's been a while. I think 24 megahertz is what they run it at, but it can run at 50.
What? That's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's because the RAM is super slow. So even at 24 megahertz, the processor has to wait. I think it's between 4 and 12 clock cycles to access a single 8-bit segment of RAM. It was really slow. So there's a lot of...
Oh, that's just a TI-84 plus. The TI-84 plus says frequency is 6 or 15 megahertz.
Yeah, that's the low and the high clock speed. They always clock it to the low one. But the CE runs off of... The TI-84 plus, I believe, is just Z80. I think the CE is the first EZ80 series they released.
Okay. I'm looking at the Wikipedia, and you're right. Which again blows my mind. I love, like... Okay. So, did you succeed?
I didn't end up being able to, just because I didn't want to damage the calculator, but I was following this tutorial, and apparently you can overclock it by bypassing the power on one of the pins that causes it to run slower by scribbling across the the PCB with a pencil, like graphite, to connect the LEDs together.
You're too young to know. Well, at least you were in a, maybe you do, but there was back in the day, and some of the older listeners might remember this. The way that you overclocked AMD CPUs was you took some graphite, you took a pencil, and you just drew two of the pins together just like that.
That's exactly how it worked.
I am happy to see that still worked. I mean, these are anywhere near the same. These are Z80s, but still. Okay.
I mean, they're around the same era, if not the calculator CPUs are older.
No, and that's one of the things I blew my mind is when someone's kid recently told me that they needed a TI-82, and I was like, "Are you serious? I had one."
The 82, really?
30 years ago, and it still went for like $150 or something.
That's insane. I got the 84 plus CE for less than that.
That's yeah. So what is okay? See, I didn't know any of this about the TI stuff. I want to know more. What is your favorite graphing calculator now?
It's still the CE. I mean, that's what I did most of my programming on. I dabbled with Nspire. I actually was, this is the weirdest thing, I was commissioned by somebody to write a couple of programs for the TI Nspire, and I didn't have a physical one, so I wrote them all on an emulator, clicking physically on the screen with the mouse to type it in.
That sounds painful.
It was not the funnest, but it was still fun to work with some new hardware.
Some new hardware, completely emulated in software, but it's
but like at that point, I was also doing a lot of my CE programming in an emulator, so I could debug it, because I didn't have any debugging tools when I was writing half of the stuff for the calculator. Because ICE, you write it, you compile it, you run it all on the calculator, and it compiles to assembly, but it's like a cross between C and TI Basic for the syntax. And it was I liked it. The hardest part about it was, like TI Basic, there is no indentation whatsoever.
Oh yeah. No, there's no white space delimitation. That's one of, when people ask me why I don't like Python, it's like, I love Python. I think Python's such a great language. I am not a software developer, so I've had very little experience with it. I think Python is great, minus the whole fact that you have to have white space to delimit everything. And if you don't, it's just not going to work. And
yeah, significant white space was a choice.
Right? And everything has now taken on that idea. Like, I have to deal with Ansible playbooks or Terraform or whatever. And it's like, oh, we'll make it white space delimited. Everyone understands that. It's like, you get one space off and it just vomits. Like, are you serious? Who thought
or
this was
one
a good
tab
idea?
Mixed in there?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
And then you've got make files, which are a lot older than Python. But in make files, if you indent with spaces, it gets run by the make utility. And if you indent with tabs, it gets sent to the shell. So it's not just significant white space. The white space actually delineates which interpreter interprets the command on any given line. So you have to mix both to write a functional make file.
I never knew this.
I learned it the hard way. I was trying to make a make file work and it was not working. And it's because you are required to use tabs.
I had no idea. I've never ever played with a make file. That's wow. Okay. But you didn't need make files for your calculators. So
yeah, no, with ICE, which is what I program the majority of my games and stuff that are still out there on, it was just you have a file and then you can include other files from it, and then you compile the main file and it just builds everything else in. But I think the most advanced program I ever wrote in ICE before switching to C was Bejeweled. I did a clone of Bejeweled.
Okay.
And I even did all the graphics on the calculator. I wrote a sprite creating tool, and then created the sprites for this game that I wrote with the tool
Calculator.
that I wrote.
Oh my god. Where did you get into Makefiles then?
That was when I moved to the computer, because there is an entire C tool chain written and developed for this calculator. C and C++. It's a fork of LLVM.
Okay.
That's done by much smarter people than me. But
I don't know, Ben. You seem pretty damn smart. Holy cow.
But yeah, that does use make. There's a modified version of the make utility that works with that. And so I did have to get into using make files then. But I didn't really end up releasing many of the things I wrote with C. There's still one utility that's like, I'm not actively maintaining it, but I really want to finish it at some point, which is a shell that mimics Bash. It's like Bash inspired, but not Bash. But it is VT100, partially VT100 and fully ANSI compatible. I just haven't gotten like the file system structure of it laid out yet. So I'm hoping to come back to that.
For the calculator.
I haven't got like a nice font and everything for it.
I love this. See, but this is so Ben and I were talking earlier. He's very pro open source advocate, right? And I think this is one of the things, and I'm assuming this is one of the reasons why you're an advocate, is because when you have folks that are able to help and there's documentation and it's easily accessible, you're able to get access to ridiculous stuff and try and create a full bash shell for your TI-84 plus CE. Is that essentially accurate?
Yeah, I mean, open source developers are the people who helped me learn how to program. They're the people who would dedicate the time to answering my dumb questions when I didn't know any better about programming. So it's like when you get to meet them, the open source developers are the ones who really care about the community rather than just like using it as a means to make money, which is what I feel like all the companies nowadays do.
Ben, are you suggesting that they do it because they love to do it? They don't just want to get rich?
Well, I'm not
giving
sure how
away
you get rich
code
off of
for
calculator
free?
programming.
That's fair. I mean, what are you using TI-84 plus CEs in college?
I mean, I still have it with me. I haven't really had to use it much, although that'll probably change because I'm taking linear algebra next semester. So wish me luck.
Good luck. You haven't had to use a graphing calculator at all in college yet?
Not at all. A lot of the time we're only allowed, like in chemistry and stuff, we are only allowed to use like the non-graphing calculators, the ones that are just like basic operations. And then in like all my coding and math classes, it's either something like symbolic logic where there's not a whole lot of calculation going on. It's more proofs and structures and things like that. And then...
So you didn't take like calculus?
I took calculus, but I took that my sophomore year of high school. So...
Oh my God. I never passed calculus. It was that was where my ability stopped.
I've been really avoiding Calc 2. I've heard it's hard. And I had an interesting experience with Trig, which I hear makes a big comeback in Calc 2. Although it did make a big comeback in my I took an entire class on 3D graphics and ray tracing. Lots of Trig in that. But it was also like you got cheat sheets and stuff on the exam, so it wasn't so, like a trig class.
So you're in college now. I'm assuming. I mean, you said your degree was in computer science, but did you check for a calculator science?
Unfortunately, that does not exist.
No. You should push for that. Tell them you could build the curriculum.
If I wanted to do that, I'd go to NYU. The person who created Chematech is a comp sci prof there, so
that's awesome. There you go. I mean, but your desire is to go for a master's degree?
Yeah, they've got what they call the 4+1 program at my college. It's like you can get a master's degree in 5 years by like, I think they let you take up to 9 credit hours of combined classes that count for both. And then you can continue to take master's classes for the duration of your undergraduate degree. So I actually just got into the master's program like a month ago.
As a junior.
You've got to be junior standing to apply. So I actually, as of right now, I'm just 4 credit hours over senior standing, which is why I'm allowed to start my senior project. So I'm hoping I sign up for classes that are like cross-listed. So I'm hoping I can just get those transferred from the 400 to the 500 level and start taking master's classes this upcoming semester. But if things go according to plan, I should be able to finish the master's degree at the end of my senior year and just graduate with a master's in 4.
I did this the dumb way. I went to college for 5 years, switched about 3 different times, left twice, finally finished my 4-year degree in 5 years, then went back for a 2-year degree master's. You're doing this way better. Do you have an idea to go for a doctorate, or?
I'm going for just the Masters of Computer Science, not the Masters in Science of Computer Science. So I'm getting a bachelor's in science, but I'm going for more of the, I don't know what to call it exactly, just like I don't have to write a thesis. That's kind of why I went for it. I can do a professional project instead. And that,
I mean, look at me again. I have a master's degree and you're way smarter than me. And I did a thesis. Essentially, my thesis instructor basically wrote it and then he allowed me to put my name on it. So thesis is not something to worry about. At least for a master's program.
I like writing, but what really interests me about the non-thesis track is I get to take more master's level classes, and I love the learning of it. Like that's my favorite thing. I love learning, I love teaching, and I would absolutely go thesis track just to teach if it weren't for the environment around teaching right now.
No, what are you talking about? Everyone loves teachers in higher education and believes in science. I don't know what you're suggesting, Ben. But you were talking again before we started. You were talking about your senior project.
Yes.
So, let's talk about that, because like everything else in your background is not interesting and is not brilliant and genius at all. But please go on.
So this senior project, we got, I think it's, I'm trying to remember. We've got 10 people total. One of them is a master's student. 7 of them, I believe, are doing it as a senior project, and the other 2 are just in it for the fun of it, like just there because. All of us who are doing it as a senior project have senior standing, but none of us are seniors. So it's an interesting group to work with. They're all like, they're all just like really super smart, and I love hanging out in a room with them.
Ben, not to concern you, but you might be around nerds.
No, really?
I mean, right now you're on a podcast about the Fediverse, so I'm one as well, but still, I love that. I don't have anything else to do on the weekend. Let me go ahead and make a senior project for the fun of it.
And it doesn't even count. That's the thing. They're just doing it, and it doesn't count for credits. They just feel like it.
But one of the things that I love is the way that Ben was explaining it earlier to me is like, he's a junior doing a senior level project, and then someone else is like,
a sophomore.
Technically a sophomore doing a senior level project, and then he looks at other. Well, you please give me exactly how you did it earlier, because I loved it. It was great.
So we all get in this room. None of us know each other. I guess the teacher knows all of us. She's like our faculty advisor. She's done a lot of stuff with algorithms. She was actually our algorithms prof. That's how we met and formed the group. But we're going around the room, we're introducing ourselves, and like every single person, they're like, I'm a junior, but I'm at senior standing because I came into college with X number of credits. And the next person's like, I'm a sophomore, but I'm at senior standing because I came into college with X number of credits. Then we get around to the person right next to me. They're like, I'm a freshman, but I'm at senior standing because I came into college with like 90 credit hours.
Oh my God.
Like, dude, I came into college with 28 and I thought I was good.
I went into college with none.
I mean, it was a sweet deal actually in college, or not college, in high school.
Yeah.
We didn't have any AP classes because I was at like a little dinky high school. It's the lowest funded area in the entire Mid-Ohio Athletic Conference. Not great. But we had this thing called College Credit Plus, and we were only like 40 minutes away from North Central State College. So what I did my senior year, because I could count for college and high school credits, is I just signed up for all of my classes at North Central State College, didn't tell anybody that I wouldn't be at school, and then only came in for choir and band, and then just left afterwards. Went to college my entire senior year.
Don't tell mom and dad I'm sneaking out to college. Oh.
Well, they said you had to be in the school building for like X number of hours, or like you couldn't do this or you couldn't do that. And I'm like, better to ask forgiveness than permission. And nobody ever called me out on it.
I don't think that them having to worry about you not learning enough was any consideration to that. Something tells me you were the kid that they're like, oh, Ben is doing this? Obviously it's not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I did during my study halls, because I have this weird thing where if I write something down, I remember it worse, because my brain like gives itself license to forget it the second I write it down, because it's written down here. So if I just don't take notes, I remember everything. I would never like study during study hall. And then I would also have like calculus classes that were remote and asynchronous. So I would get like a whole bunch of work done and then have like an 80-minute period that I just had nothing to do every single day. And so I had like 2 hours of every school day that I just had nothing to do. So I spent the time doing a couple different things. I would go into the tech lab and help them disassemble and reassemble Chromebooks. That was one of the things that I did to like,
oh my God.
To like give back to students when they broke the screen or something. It was fun. And they desperately needed people to help. So like it was great for both of us. And then I also did homework tutoring in the library. I taught a lot of math to like middle schoolers. That was fun. And then I somehow managed to get myself wrapped up in a research project having to do with with block scheduling. So my school used to have 9 40-minute periods throughout the day.
Yeah.
And they would all be year long. And instead they switched to 3 80-minute periods at the beginning of the day, followed by a shorter lunch, and then 3 40-minute periods at the end of the day. And what we were trying to show is that that's worse for kids' education because they only have the 80-minute periods for half the year, but the standardized tests are at the end of the year. So if you take it the first half of the year, then you're super disadvantaged for the standardized tests.
I'm glad someone did this research, because in my high school, the first year I went to high school, they switched to that.
Yeah, they had switched to block scheduling the year before I went into high school. And so I did this whole research project. There wasn't enough data to like convincingly conclude anything from a scientific perspective, because we only had data going back to 2019, thanks to COVID. But I basically did show that there was consistently lower test scores from the people who took classes, especially English and math, first semester, as opposed to second semester. And so the year after I left, they actually did end up switching back to all 40-minute periods.
Did anyone come up to you and let you know that math has been debunked?
No, although a lot of them were that type.
We won't get into that. But one of the things that I love that you casually drop, I don't know if you said it now, you casually dropped to me earlier, is that your senior project, is on visual algorithms. And the best example you gave me that's a free and open source project right now is visual
It's like, I don't know how to pronounce it.
visu,
Visualgo or Visual Go. I don't know.
Yeah. So what
Something
is
like that.
and you're planning on making your, once it's done, you're planning on making your project open source. What does this do? For pretend that I'm a 44-year-old idiot that doesn't have a clue what visual algorithms are, because I didn't go into college with 90 credits of college already. Um, what is this? It looks impressive. For those on the audio, I can't even describe this. I don't know what this is. So Ben, please go ahead.
So it's a tool that's primarily used by educators. Visualgo it's a collaboration between a couple of different colleges and researchers working together to try and make this. It's a tool that's supposed to help you wrap your mind around how certain algorithms work. So you've got, like, I don't know, breadth first search for a binary tree. It's a certain way of going about searching that binary tree so you can find data in it efficiently. It's different from depth first search. What the visual thing does is it kind of shows step by step how the parts of the tree are rearranged, how they're sorted through, depending on what algorithm you're applying to it, or like a linked list or a regular list or an array. There's various different visualizations for various different constructs, and it just helps you kind of wrap your mind around how the algorithm works, because if you know how it works, you can implement it.
Okay, so yeah, I found the binary search tree one, and it walks you through the different. I'm not reading all of this. There's a lot. Holy. Geez.
Yeah. So the thing with Visual Algo, I love it. It's really clunky. Like it gets what it needs to get done, but it's almost harder to wrap your mind around the user interface than it is to wrap your mind around the algorithms.
Okay.
And so what we're going for is something a little more user friendly. And we're planning on, hopefully at the end of my senior year, doing like a paper of some sort on it. Not like a full scientific paper, but like, what do they call them? The short, like 2-page papers, the conference papers. That's what they are. And we're hoping some of this stuff can get implemented into the larger scale teaching stuff so that students don't need to learn a really complicated user interface that doesn't tell them what they need to know, just to visualize algorithms. So we're kind of doing a lot of research, taking in the best parts of the different tools that are already there. We spent a lot of time figuring out what our tech stack would be, settled on like React Router with Vite and different unit testing frameworks and all that fun stuff, starting with Material UI, Tailwind CSS, like, all the fun tech details of setting up a project like this. Nope.
Sorry, I have a cough. No, it's funny. It's funny because you're throwing out all of these words, and I'm assuming they're computer languages or something, and then I hear CSS. I'm like, oh, I know that one. That one I know.
So Tailwind CSS is, I really like it. Some people really hate it. It's controversial because it's basically a library that allows you to write CSS without writing CSS. It creates different classes.
Sounds great. I hate
it creates
CSS.
Different classes, and you just use classes to style your elements. The reason some people hate it is because in order to style elements correctly, you could have like 50 classes applied to one element, and that doesn't make for very clean looking code.
Yes.
But if you can get like a plugin that collapses your classes when you're not using them, and that makes your code look pretty good. And
this, and no offense, the original reason that I asked Ben here was to talk about Fedi-Search, and this seems easy compared to the rest of it. Did you just like dream this up and you're like doing it while you're sleeping?
No. I mean, it took us 2 months to get around to figuring out the tech stack for this, because it's hard to communicate with a group of 10 people online solely like spread out across the entire United States and all that because college students. But I've kind of been set in charge of actually setting it up. Like once we have the tech stack figured out, I'm the one who's been doing all of the programming to actually make that happen. While other people are working more on the design, and then we're going to balance it off once you've got a foundation. But it was actually the idea of our faculty advisor, and we kind of just fleshed it out. We had weekly meetings for the last month of the semester, and then we've had monthly meetings throughout the summer to figure this out more.
Okay. So this was like a school project as well then?
Or no, I'm talking about the visual algo one. Are you? The visual.
No,
wow,
yeah.
I can't talk.
No, you're fine. Fedi-Search, yeah.
Fedi-Search.
So that not to switch tracks on you.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
But Fedi-Search, how do you pronounce it?
Fedi-Search. It's just,
okay.
Yeah.
How did you come up with this then, and how long did this take you? Because Fedi-Search, again, while I think it's really cool, and I think we need more projects like this, it sounds nothing as difficult as visual. I can't pronounce it.
Visual algo.
Thank you. There you go.
But so Fedi-Search was interesting. I was on the Fediverse like kind of at the start of things, as you can kind of guess from the fact that the site that I set up my account through no longer exists. But it was Lemmy was still getting started. K-Bin was just getting started. They were kind of back and forth, and we were still in the wars of places blocking Federation with each other based on like, oh, this place has too many political posts, and this so it was like still trying to get together into a whole. And there wasn't a great way of searching at all. And I saw a lot of people making posts like, how am I supposed to find things?
Right.
So I'm like, well, Google does a pretty good job of indexing things. As much as I hate Google, they do a really good job of indexing things in a much better way than an open source project generally can, just due to funding. But they also have a really advanced search. So I figured, what if I could use Google or some of these other search engines to try and start making it so you can search specifically within the Fediverse, because there's all these solutions people were giving to try and, because I mean, if you want to find an answer to something on Reddit, you just put Reddit at the end of your Google search. That's harder to do with the Fediverse. So I wanted to create something that could do that, but for the Fediverse. And it was just an idea that I had. I think I threw the majority of the user interface together in like a couple hours, and then I hosted it through GitHub pages, so it doesn't even cost anything.
That's
the majority of the search engine integrations now have been contributed by other people.
See, and it's funny because again, this shows how non-technical I am, because I'm like, this is great, I love this, and Ben is like, oh yeah, it took me a couple hours at most.
I mean, it's just a front end. There's no server side anything. It just takes advantage of the advanced search features of other search engines and fills in the necessary details so that you don't have to go through all the hard parts of figuring out what you need to search to find the Fediverse.
See, here's the thing, Ben. You know how I know you're smart?
How?
Because you say it's just, and then you follow it up with like very brilliant things. I mean, I understand it's a front end, because like you could have different search engines here, and it looks like it's just translating, redirecting to like Google, and you're putting in some keywords and stuff like that. But just to even know that, to start with that is still brilliant, man. One of the problems with folks like us is we downplay our accomplishments so much. I mean, let's be fair. It's no graphing calculator search, right? But this is, I still like it. And knowing that it's on GitHub pages means I can't DDoS it when I boost it out, because Mastodon has its reflection attack thing that is accidental.
I mean,
this took you a couple hours, just like, yeah, whatever.
yeah, I mean, I just pulled up Visual Studio Code and did like there's a side by side plugin where you can host like your little HTML like server thing, so that you can write the HTML and it pops up visually, so you can kind of visually design in HTML without having to go through like Figma or something like that. And I just made it look like a search engine, and then I implemented like probably not even 200 lines of code. I'm not looking at it right now, but it was just some really simple JavaScript. The hard part's actually done by Google and Kagi and DuckDuckGo and all the other engines that I'm using in the back end. But
hang on. Just open Visual Studio Code. I've opened Visual Studio Code. I have no idea how to configure it. I don't know any
it kind of
JavaScript.
configures itself.
But I don't know any JavaScript, let alone 200 lines of JavaScript, to then run it on GitHub pages, which I don't have a clue how to do that. To then
it's just a couple clicks of a button.
It's just yes, it's just.
It is. I mean,
yeah. I love this. This is great.
But so like, it wasn't really new territory to me. It's like I didn't really need to learn too much because I've been working with Discord a lot.
But that's why, right there, Ben. That's why, because you have the experience. So it's not a just. It's that you've built up all of that, and anyone. When you spend the amount of time and energy, right? Like, it becomes easier.
That's true.
And you've spent a lot of time and energy. And that's what I mean by downplaying. Like, oh, well, it's just this easy to do this, and this. It's like, okay, but how many years did it take you to get to that point of just that? Like, you have years of experience at this point.
Yeah, I do, but I feel like it's also a little bit just the experience to know what to look up too.
Yes.
Because I feel like so much of it is just looking up, and there's so many things that I do.
Yes.
And then I forget them, and then I do them again, and then I forget them, and I always have to look. If I didn't have the internet, I'm not sure I'd be able to program in JavaScript.
So I don't. You probably know this statement. I think Albert Einstein, never memorize something that you can look up. Right?
Fair enough.
But the point is that knowing what to look up, knowing how to look it up, is more valuable than just remembering it. Because if you just remembered it, tomorrow it could change. But knowing how to look it up, that's experience that can lead you to any answer. Did I just look up the Einstein thing? I did. I looked up because I can't memorize it, because I could never memorize it. And that's in my opinion why everyone should have access to the internet, right? Because you can't remember everything, but if you have access to all the knowledge in the world, even if a lot of it is fake, you could still hopefully come to a conclusion.
Well, that is what I love so much about the internet in particular, is it was built with the purpose of being open. Like once it came out of the classified stages of being something for the Department of Defense, it was really built with the purpose of being open from the ground up. And random side tangent, but kind of related. I never knew what Mozilla meant, but Mozilla, it came from Netscape. A lot of people know that it kind of switched over, but Mozilla is actually short for Mosaic Killer. Mosaic was the browser name for Netscape Navigator before it was Netscape. And the Netscape Navigator was made by a company called Mosaic. And so, all of that, I always thought, Chrome is the one that everybody uses a lot of the time nowadays, but Firefox actually is made by the people who basically created the internet. So
yeah.
And what I've realized as I've looked more into it is these big companies like Google that prop themselves up as being these cornerstones of these cornerstones of the internet and all of this innovation, they're the ones who are implementing non-standardized things that make the internet less functional in the long term.
Yep. No, and this is why I'm hopeful that something like the Fediverse, whether that's ActivityPub or something else, can help open it back up and bring us back to an internet I knew. I mean, again, you're 2004. Yeah, you've probably always known a world that you can remember with Google. I remember
the oldest
when Google's
phone I have ever seen somebody use was a Palm Treo.
Oh, I had one. Yeah.
So I guess that idea of like where I'm at when it comes to the technology that was around.
Yeah. No, but you give me a lot of, and not to put an entire generation on you, but now you're carrying the generation. You give me a lot of hope because, you know, I don't know anyone your age, and you just hear about kids that are just interested in phones, right? And this, you can't do any, like, you can only do with this what they allow you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
that is why I will never own an Apple device. Like, Apple, got to give it to them. They're good with user interfaces, but they lock it down so much. Like, at least Android lets you sideload apps. So if you want to do something, there's probably some really weird roundabout developer way of doing it anyway, even though it is sandboxed. I'm big on customization. So
Ben is my new favorite sophomore that's senior that's going for a master's. Ben, you're awesome. Folks are asking, and Ben is a musician as well. I have no idea what the shirt means. Multiple people have said that is a great shirt and says these are difficult times. And then someone asks, can you demonstrate 13/8 and 6/4 signatures? I know nothing about this. Apparently I don't know anything about computers or graphing calculators because Ben knows it all. Well, not all of it, but you taught me a lot already and I love it. But what does the shirt mean?
So they're just two different time signatures, and they're both time signatures that would be really difficult to play things in. So it's like, these are difficult time signatures. It's kind of like, but
so what is it? What is a 13/8?
13/8 means there's 13 beats in a measure, and an eighth note gets one beat. That's the one that I find. I think 6/4 is not that difficult in personal opinion, but
okay.
I'm trying to figure out how I would demonstrate that without like slamming my desk. Because 6/4 is just, it's basically just 6/8, but not quite. It's 6/8 but written weirdly. 13/8 is not something I've ever seen anything written in. And I'm trying to think, it would be I don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Okay.
I mean,
but
I don't normally see music written. I normally hear it, but
true. But like, you can see how that beat would not be
music.
would not be particularly easy to write anything in or play anything in. But like this type of thing, geeky shirts, it's kind of like what I wear all the time. I've got like 60 plus random geeky shirts.
That's the way to be. Hey, dude, I'm wearing an Owncast shirt. Oh, and it's covered in cat fur. Like, hell yeah. Represent what you want to be a thing in the real world, man. Go for it. Be yourself. Screw what other people think about it. If they think it's geeky, tell them to learn something.
I've never had anyone like make fun of me for my t-shirts. It's either like they ignore them or they love them. So
they don't understand,
or they don't
them.
understand them.
That's why. Yeah, I didn't say anything because I didn't understand it. I didn't get the reference. It's when someone is like, "Oh, that's awesome," that they get the reference. So, well, now for the real reason I asked Ben here is to give him the opportunity to win a prize of a lifetime. Our prize today is a full stack. thought about giving you a partial stack, but who wants a partial stack? It's full stack or nothing, right? Are you ready for the quiz, Ben?
Okay, let's see.
This is, I have a feeling this is about to be painful, but favorite movie and why is it Spaceballs?
So, fun fact, I know a lot of Spaceballs references, but I've never seen it.
Okay, no, that's more than some. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought. That a lot of people are like, I've never watched it, and I know nothing about it. So okay, so you know, so what is your favorite movie then?
Favorite movie.
And why is it Spaceballs? What is your favorite?
Oh gosh. Well, should I say Spaceballs?
It's really so. This most folks don't know this is when I ask this questions because I love to watch movies. And people don't realize if I've never heard it or I've never seen it, I then go look it up to make sure that I watch it. So what is your favorite movie?
Oh gosh. I love movies that have a good twist to them. And I have to say my favorite movie like that I've seen is probably The Usual Suspects. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's an older movie.
Be careful with that, Ben.
No, but like,
heard of this.
But like not. I think it's pre-2000s, maybe
1995. I was
14. Okay.
I feel like I've seen this.
Really good movie. I mean, if you've seen it, you would recognize the name Kaiser Soze.
I mean, Kaiser Soze was more than that. Right?
Because that movie is where Kaiser Soze is. Like that's what he's from.
What? I don't even know how to spell Kaiser Soze.
I don't know.
This is that's nowhere near right. I'll have to watch that. Oh, Kaiser Soze. Oh.
Don't look up too much, you'll spoil the movie for yourself.
Okay, Kevin Spacey. I always thought Kaiser Soze was something completely different. Okay, I will look that up. I have to watch that now.
It's a great movie.
Regardless of Kevin Spacey's...
I was going to say, despite Kevin Spacey. It's a great movie.
But he's also an amazing actor. But like,
he is,
right?
He
That's
is.
Kinda...
I can admit that, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Just not a great person.
I struggle constantly with, do you support someone because their art is incredible, but they're a terrible human, or do you not? Like, I mean, it's not like he's going to benefit from me watching this. So
yeah. It's like, that's kind of my stance on it is it's not like me watching it is going to be like supporting.
Right. Like, yeah.
Like I'm supporting the art. I like the art.
Supporting the person. Yeah. All right. So next question: purple, a lighter shade of purple, or a darker shade of purple?
Ooh. See, I like all shades of purple. That's my favorite color.
I could tell. That's why I asked. I
like that in between. My hair is super washed out right now. You can tell I haven't dyed
your
it
hair
in
is definitely
ages,
a lighter shade of purple going to brown.
I agree with chat. Deep purple's where it's at. If it's got a little bit of blue in it, it's even better. I can't keep blue in my hair. The red stays really well, but like.
All right, this might be interesting. I want to see your thoughts on this. So the next question is: theremin, the Winter Gotten Marble Machine, Yay Bahar, sousaphone, or a pyrophone?
I know what half of those are.
All right.
I've got to go with theremin.
Why theremin? Other than the fact that everyone knows it.
Because it is extremely difficult to play, and yet people still go out of their way to play it. And it's also a blend of music and technology, which I just love. And it is one of the only instruments out there that can represent the full dynamic range of sound, like all frequency ranges can, because it's slide based. And so you can harmonize the theremin in some interesting ways because you don't have to stick to the 12-tone scale. So it's a very dynamic instrument if you know how to play it.
I don't.
I don't either, but I just love it.
Have you seen the Wintergatan marble machine?
I have not.
It's really cool. Some dude made it's a YouTuber. Turn this crank and it's all wooden and it sounds amazing. The Yebahar, I just looked up weird random instruments, and the Yebahar is something like I've never seen before. It's, oh, that's a completely wrong window. It is this really weird. Did you say eh?
What? No.
Oh.
I was saying I like violin too. Don't get me wrong.
The Yebahar is something like a violin. It's like, you should look that one up. I'm showing a picture if you're on the stream right now, but and then the Zeusophone is a.
I need to. There we go. Oh, that is interesting.
The Zeusophone is just a Tesla coil that makes music, and the Pyrophone is just pipe organs with flames coming out it that make music. A lot of folks have seen those. I just think they're fun and cool. Okay, next question. What does an alternate universe Ben do?
Well, I could say electrical engineering.
Okay. Is that what? That's fine. Remember, it amazes me. Everyone's like, well, it could be this. It's like, it's an alternate universe. If alternate universes exist, exactly. Like, every single decision you make, every single decision everyone makes everywhere sparks off a different universe. So it could be anything. So is that what you want to go with?
Sure. I mean, by that though, like if an alternate universe does exist, it's more likely than not that I don't exist within it, though.
That is true. That is fair. So the alternate universe Ben does nothing because he doesn't exist.
Or maybe
statistically speaking,
it depends. I have no idea.
Well, I reached out to an alternate universe. I have an alternate universe phone here. Don't ask how it works. It's very complex. And the alternate universe Ben that I spoke to said they're also a full stack developer.
Interesting.
He said he develops full stacks. And I asked him to expand on that. And he said he stacks developers. Apparently in his universe, when there's a bad developer that doesn't act in good faith, he stacks them from the bottom up. And eventually that developer will get to outer space and will just float away. And you never have to worry about that developer again. So best of luck to alternate universe Ben and to all of the developers in that universe, because that sounds dangerous. So
my question is it like a permanent sentence? Do you like permanently get sentenced to be wherever in the stack you are? Or is it like one of those stacks that can be randomly accessed, so you can take the developer out of it if they start behaving again?
First in, first out.
Just wondering if it was like a stack data struct.
No. Once you're like
a computer
bad,
stack.
I mean, you can here. You can call them. There you go. Next question: Pop-Tarts, ramen, or Hot Pockets? Classic college food, at least for me. That's basically all I ate. A soup, I guess, mac and cheese. Like,
I gotta go with ramen because there's a lot of different ways you can have ramen depending on the spices you put in it.
It's funny because like even bad ramen I have, it's like, okay, that's edible, but like when you have good ramen, oh
my gosh, there's a ramen restaurant right next to my college. It's stupid expensive, but it's like real genuine ramen. Yeah. Not like the stuff you get in packets, but like real genuine ramen.
The stuff you get in packets. Yeah. No, I mean, it might be. What if they get it in the packet and you never see it? They got some top ramen and they just throw some. Yeah. Okay. Last question. As usual, will be sent to Ben telepathically. I'll send you the message, and then you let me know what your answer is. Take your time. thinking about it. They're always very complex questions. Are you ready for it? Are your telepathic lines open?
Focus in.
All right, here you go. There it comes. All right. There's your question. Take your time. There's no rush. You are on the clock though.
I think I gotta say the answer is 41.
41. Okay, why is it 41 now, Ben?
To think about that.
I mean, the question was say anything but 42, so you did get that right.
Maybe just because I want to be different.
Yeah. You would, I mean, I would say you'd be surprised how many people said 42, but you said 41, so you wanted to say 42, so you immediately know it's not a surprise that people say 42. Yeah. All right. Congratulations. You got every question either right or wrong. Good job.
Nice 50-50.
Unfortunately, I was going to bring you your full stack, but my dog saw it and she knocked it over, and now it's in a million tiny little stacks, and we already said earlier, no partial stacks, so that just won't do. I apologize.
Do I get one in an alternate universe?
Maybe. For all we know, you did. I apologize for your loss of prize. Normally, this is the part where I would say that I punish the person appropriately, but let's admit, she's such a good dog that sometimes she makes mistakes and deserves belly rubs. And wait a second. I think my dog edited this script. All right, that's okay. Anyway, thank you so much to Ben for joining me on this absolutely ridiculous episode. I hope you had a good time. I know I did.
Thanks for having me. Hope I wasn't too random.
No, this is great. I love this. This is that's perfect amount of random. Good job. Thank you to all the Fedizens out there. You folks are the reason that makes this interesting. The platforms are built for people, and when platforms start getting shut down, there are less people to interact with, right? So we want to make sure we foster the Fediverse as much as possible. That goes to as well investing back into your domains, investing back in your admins, investing back into your developers. Ben also has links to donation pages, which will be in the descriptions as well as in the end credits. Thank you to everyone, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great one. Bye.
Yeah.